Turns out I owe my dad a pen and Brock Purdy an apology. Good afternoon. Welcome to a very important episode of the Cohn Zone. We're the Cohns, Lowell Cohn, Grant Cohn. As you know, dedicated Cohn Zone watchers, we made a wager last week on who was going to win this game. My dad expertly moved me across the ring, put me in the corner, and got me to declare that I thought the Bears were going to win the game. I was wrong, and we wagered a pen, a ballpoint pen, and I paid up. Dad, why don't you show the people what you won?
I won a ballpoint pen. It's a good one, right?
Nice. Yeah.
He's paid up.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I want to say why I was so confident that the Niners are going to beat these guys. And I'm going to be real clear. Who the hell are the Chicago Bears? These teams come in here with an inflated reputation, and you turn out they're okay.
Yeah. They might really be something next year.
Yeah, not this year.
Yeah, not this year.
So, no.
That's the look of a guy who knew he was going to win a ballpoint pen for an entire week, and now he has it. How's it feel? Is it good? How does it write?
It writes very well, and it feels good in my fingers.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm a writer, and I do take notes. I work on a laptop, but I do take notes, and pens are very important. In fact, I often have a pen in my pocket.
That's a good thing to have. All right. Yeah. Well, look, we're going to talk about what the Niners learned, what we learned about the Niners in this game, and Christian McCaffrey's resurgence, and the defense, and the Seahawks. But instead of like making you wait, maybe let's not beat around the bush. Maybe let's get right to it. The title of the show is Rethinking where Brock Purdy ranks among quarterbacks in the NFL. That was the title of the show last week, and my dad dared to say that Purdy was top 5 and better than Herbert, and I made faces on a show with my own dad, which was borderline disrespectful. And then look, Herbert loses. Purdy has the greatest game of all time. So why don't we do the discussion again? And why don't we bring Mac Jones? I'm not going to run from the Mac. I was the guy saying Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy.
I said it too.
Mac Jones has ever had a game like last night.
No, I understand why the Niners, Kyle Shanahan, preferred Purdy to Mac Jones is really good, and he could be a very good starting quarterback in the league. Purdy has more to his game. Purdy is a more dynamic player. Purdy ran for 2 touchdowns yesterday. Mac Jones can't do that. So I have to admit, Carl was right. He was.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. But I'm not putting down Mac Jones. He's wonderful. Purdy's better.
Okay. He's probably better. I just want to say that Kyle prefers Brock, and I respect that. And Kyle's doing a great job of making that choice correct. Like, Kyle calls games differently for Mac and for Brock. And I'm not trying to make one guy seem like they're being unfairly treated, because they're both being coached phenomenally. But they are Kyle calls games for Brock in a very deliberate, slow, balanced fashion. They run as much as they pass. They don't really go hurry up, and it works. Like the last 2 games, Brock had the best 2 games of his career. They also ran for 200 yards last night and like 150 the game before. So they kind of goes hand in hand. Whereas when Mac was playing, they weren't scoring as many points, but they had no running game at that point. And Kyle could actually call games and win where he was calling 40, 50 passes, which you just don't ever see him do stuff like that with Brock Purdy. Doesn't mean Mac's better than Brock, but they're different. I mean, Mac can stand in one spot in the pocket and beat you because he can see the whole field and make really impressive throws. Purdy is good in the pocket, but he's better outside the pocket. And once he gets out there, he can do things that very few quarterbacks can do.
I agree. I love your analysis, and I agree with you.
Who was the better quarterback on the field last night?
Oh, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
He was a better performer. Look, the other guy was very good. And I think, yes, he was very impressive. Of all the young quarterbacks they've faced this season, he's the best. I loved watching him work, Iggy. And I think he's going to have a very good NFL career. But I think Brock had a better game. And you made the point to me when we were prepping for the show. Brock ran the ball in when he had to at the end, and Caleb couldn't do it.
That's right. And it's funny. Kyle called runs for Brock, multiple. I don't think Ben Johnson called any runs for Caleb Williams. So that is really a huge addition to the Niners offense. And it's not something that Kyle Shanahan really tapped into with Brock Purdy in the past. If he's going to use him like this, then yeah, he really is better than Mac Jones. No question about it. But I think the reason I brought up the balanced play calling is the one thing with Brock, which is still a thing. I mean, he threw a pick six on the first play of the game, and there was a second one which got called back, is the interceptions. And so it's better to call 32 passes for Brock Purdy. I mean, he might be the best quarterback in the league, but I would think the best quarterback in the league, you'd feel comfortable calling 50 passes if you had to, because he's the best quarterback in the league. Brock isn't quite that yet. Maybe he'll be that next week. But there's a reason why Kyle isn't that liberal with the passing when Brock plays.
Fair enough. Can we get back to our discussion, the core discussion, where he rates?
Yes.
We did it last week, and I tried to say he was top 5, and you sneered at me and made fun of me and ruined my whole week.
Yeah,
I had to go to therapy. I had to go to psychotherapy, and
talked
it was
about
terrible.
it in therapy, huh?
Oh yeah, my son. But I bounced back.
Where did I go wrong with this boy?
I bounced back, and
okay.
I think he's a top 5 quarterback, Iggy. Now I admit I'm basing it a lot on the last 2 games, and you're basing it more maturely on career. I understand that, but let's see what we can do. Like, for example, you have, as my father wouldn't call him Herbert because he was Brooklyn, he called him Herbert. You have Herbert. Yeah, that's my dad. Loli, you want to get a hamburger? And I love it.
If Herbert had sherbet, how would your dad say that?
Herbert had sherbet. Naturally. Anyway.
Naturally.
So anyway, I like him better than Herbert. I do.
Why?
Herbert has a better arm.
Yeah.
I think Brock is a more intelligent quarterback. And I think Herbert is a goofball. He's a goofball. He's a goofball.
He's got goof tendencies, man.
He's got goof tendencies. And Brock Purdy is not a goofball. Now, the word to describe Brock Purdy is earnest. He's earnest.
Serious.
He's serious. In elementary school, he'd be the teacher's pet.
No question.
He'd bring an apple.
He'd be the one kid who tucked his T-shirt into his jeans. It's like, God, Lee.
That's who.
Like, come on.
Yeah, but I think the other players find him cute. I think they love him. They find him cute because he's a tough guy. Yeah. I take him over Herbert. I do. I take him over Herbert. I'll tell you. I want to say something that's going to make you angry. I'm close to taking him over Stafford.
You shut the front door. Over Stafford? You're close to taking him over. Why?
Okay. I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Stafford is an all-time great thrower, and he has a wider range on the field than Purdy. But for where Purdy throws it, in the last 2 games, he's phenomenal where he throws it. Plus, he's mobile, and he's a threat in and of himself. Stafford moves with the agility of a refrigerator. And he's older. And I'm not
making faces.
Yeah, you're on the verge.
You can't tell you're on the verge. I'm making faces this time.
I have seen Stafford kind of fall apart. Not to the extent that Sam Darnold does, but I've seen him kind of like fall apart, like Goff and Sam Darnold. I never really see that with Brock Purdy, except when he throws 3 interceptions in a game.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay.
I knew where you were.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Look. You're doing great, Dad, and I don't want to be the guy who starts making cases against Brock Purdy the day after he throws 5 touchdowns or has 5 touchdowns for the second week in a row. Like, I don't want you said, you know what? Rain on a guy's parade. This is Brock Purdy day, and I respect it. He's having a great season, great run. That's all I want to say. He's a good quarterback. I'm not going to. I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I got something to ask you that I
Sure.
think is reasonable. What would it take for him to persuade you he's a
Okay.
top 5 quarterback?
Okay.
Is
This is
that
my
fair?
question. Yeah, this is what I want to say. If he's truly a top 5 quarterback, if he's one maybe a top 3 or 4 quarterback, why didn't he win the Super Bowl when he was in it? How come he only threw one touchdown pass in that game? Why they only scored 23, 22 points in regulation? Like, he had an opportunity to show it. It's not like the Chiefs were that great. I mean, we see what the Chiefs are now. Jalen Hurts beat him. I'd like to see him win a Super Bowl. It's not like he's on the Tennessee Titans. He's got Kyle Shanahan, who's might be the best play caller in the league. One of them. I mean, I know there's the injuries and stuff, but I think winning a Super Bowl would be something.
Iggy, I agree with you. I think winning a Super Bowl would be necessary for Kyle and for Brock to call them great. You go back to the Super Bowl for 2 seasons ago. I'm going to submit humbly that Brock's a better quarterback now.
That could be the case. That could really be
Yeah.
the case for sure.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. He's
Yeah.
had time to mature, and so has Kyle. Kyle has had time to understand how to use him better. So he didn't win a Super Bowl, and he needs to. They both need to. Otherwise, they become footnotes in the league. Footnotes, and they haven't gotten out of the footnote category yet because neither of them has won a Super Bowl. So yeah,
I want to come back to a discussion we had last week before we go on to I want to revisit 2 things. We revisited one. I want to revisit one more, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the Bears game. We were talking about the biggest difference between this year and last year. And we talked about Saleh and Gus Bradley, and I'm sure there's a lot of that. Like, they're very important. I want to talk about something else, and Trent Williams alluded to it. Kittle was the one talking about Saleh and Bradley. Trent Williams just said there was a lot going on last year and left it at that. And to me, I think that's the closest thing to the truth. And what was going on last year, not to boil it down to 2 people, he held out, but there was a lot of like me first diva stuff. And I think it kind of started in the offseason with Ayuk holding out and putting himself above the team and really making that all a circus. Then he came back and wasn't really a distraction anymore. And then Debo was a distraction. His grievances all year, his demanding of the ball, him not being in shape, like their personal agendas, I feel like overrode the entire season. And just not having them anymore, I think has brought this as like the culture of this team is way better. They were worse than the sum of their parts last year. Now they're better than the sum of their parts this year. Like, they're less talented this year, but a much better team. They were more talented last year, but they were worse last year. I think this is a big reason why.
I agree with you. And when Trent Williams says there was a lot going on last year, Iggy, there's more that we don't know about. We only know those 2 things. I'm telling you right now, there was more. I mean, I don't know what the more was. I'm not in that locker room. I don't know these players. They don't talk to me. But if we know that, I've been around a lot of football teams. There's more we don't know about. And I think part of it may have been dissatisfaction in the locker room with the head coach. Why are you letting these guys act this way? Jim Harbaugh wouldn't. He wouldn't allow it. And
Well,
he'd make
remember how the whole season culminated, right? I mean, they were playing the Rams with the season on the line. Dre Greenlaw came back. He couldn't play the second half. They wanted to go back to Devondre Campbell, who had been the starter, but he had to go to the bench when Greenlaw came back, and Campbell quit. He's like, I have my own agenda. This is bullshit. You guys, you made me look bad. I'm here. It's like, I'm not part of this team. I'm out. And they made him seem like he was a one-off. But to me, he was sort of like the culmination of what that culture was last year. And now that stuff is out. That stuff is gone.
I agree with you. And I have one further point. I would like to think that Kyle will never let that happen again.
That's the point.
That's
what I wanted to say. Because last week we kept saying it's Saleh, it's Bradley. No. It's Kyle. Kyle is the one who held on to Debo too long. Kyle is the one who wouldn't trade Ayuk when the rest of the organization wanted to. Kyle is the one who had to let him go, and he did. And that was
Yes.
big for him. And you mentioned it when it happened. Like him actually trading Debo was a big sign of growth for Kyle Shanahan.
Yes. And so he's doing such a beautiful job this season, Iggy. I would like to think that he grew, is capable of growth, and will never let things get out of hand like that again, because he saw when things get out of hand in the locker room, the games get out of hand. You can't allow that. It's not a democracy.
Yeah. And
He's the
it felt like
king.
it felt like at times the Niners were. I mean, with the season on the line last year, they were force feeding Debo Samuel when he had been a terrible all season, and they're not doing stuff like that. It doesn't seem like there are specific players, individual agendas overriding the the team. I mean, Sky Moore got to play a little bit offense yesterday. Jake Tonjes was a huge factor last year. I don't think that would have happened. I mean, last night. I don't think that would have happened last year.
I agree. I agree. Kyle seems more mature,
Yep.
like the leader he needs to be. But
Yep.
again, I want to be very careful. I've never met Kyle. I'm never going to meet Kyle. I can only go on what it looks like and what my experience has been. I believe one of the big reasons that they're so successful is Kyle has made a quantum leap as a leader and
Yep.
has either thought about it or internalized what it takes. I'm telling you, Jim Harbaugh would never take that shit, and nor would George Seifert or Bill Walsh. Guys like that would have ended up in Buffalo the next day.
It's my suspicion. Look, as well as Brock Purdy is playing, and you say you think he's improved a lot, he may very well have. We'll see what he does in the next few weeks. So far, I think the story of this season is how much Kyle Shanahan has improved. And I
I
think
agree.
that manifests itself when you saw Brock Purdy go down and Mac Jones play so well. I mean, he never played that well in the NFL. All of a sudden, he was playing like the guy he was supposed to be when he left Alabama. That's Kyle. And it's not just what he got out of the quarterbacks, it's how he got the locker room back, how he got the culture back and finally said goodbye to a couple of players that he had kind of enabled for years.
You know, it's interesting. It's going to be the new year in a few days. So I
Mhm.
guess what we're saying is what we look back over the year, because it's going to be the new year, and we feel, and we can be proven right or wrong, but as of the 29th, we're saying Kyle Shanahan has really grown, and we're giving him credit. We're giving him credit.
I feel like I've been one of the more critical people toward him in the media since he's been here, and I feel like I'm one of the I don't know. I'm very very enthusiastic about the job he's doing this year. I feel like he's doing a better job this year than any year he's ever had with the 49ers. Now, we've seen him be on absolute heaters and have it all come crashing down right at the very, very end. So before I say that he's a Hall of Fame coach, I'd like to see the end of the story. But right now, I do feel like he's grown, and I've never said that about Kyle Shanahan before.
Iggy, he can't be a Hall of Fame coach until he wins the Super Bowl.
His dad
Bottom
won
line.
two and a third as a coordinator and still hasn't made it in. Yeah, the bar
Right.
is high.
Bar is high. So we're saying he's made tremendous growth, but Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm not on the committee. Ira used to be, but I don't vote for. If I were on the committee, I wouldn't vote for him until he wins at least one Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't know if people thought about it, but I'm sure Kyle did. I mean, that was a big contest last night between him and Ben Johnson. They're both in the running for the coach of the year. Ben Johnson is kind of like the hot new flavor on the block. He's supposed to be the new Kyle Shanahan, the new and improved Kyle Shanahan. And he's good. He was really good in this game. That Bears team has a bright future, but Kyle Shanahan was just better. And I think was interesting with the game on the line. Ben Johnson called that cute little hook and ladder, which I don't think helped them at all. They didn't have a timeout. It only gave them one play left. I would have preferred to just take 3 shots into the end zone. Kyle didn't do anything like that. He didn't call attention to himself with some like razzle dazzle. He just won.
Just winning is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
agree. One of the things last night's game was great. Let's say it. I loved it, Iggy. I
Mhm.
loved the game, and among the great things was watching these two coaches who call the offense, Johnson and Kyle. It was brilliant. The both of
Yep.
them. They were brilliant. And Iggy, it was moving. I look at games as art,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was as moving as if I saw a good movie.
And remember, people, my dad covered all of Bill Walsh, so he knows what, beautiful football is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And what I think is cool about this matchup, it feels like these teams are kind of the future of the NFC. Like the Rams are good now, but we'll see who their quarterback is in a year or two. The Seahawks are good now, but we'll see how their quarterback is in a year or two. It seems like it's going to be Kyle and Purdy, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams facing each other in the playoffs for a while. That'll be fun.
Now I want to say one other thing. I said the game yesterday was beautiful. I'm talking about offense.
Yeah.
I was trying to think what's an analogy to the game yesterday. I'm thinking the NBA All-Star game. Iggy, like they score 100 million points because no one plays defense. But the offense is great in the NBA All-Star game. It was like the NBA All-Star game. Everybody played the greatest offense. Neither defense could really stop the other team until the very, very, very end and we'll get back to that later, when the Niners finally, they got down to about the 5-yard line, right? And the Niners sort of stopped them.
Can I say something real quick? I don't like how these drives start at the 35-yard line now. It's like, it just feels like inflation or something. All you got to do is go 15 yards and now you're in 4-down territory. No one ever punts anymore. It just feels so, when you get the ball back with 2 minutes left, you're definitely going to get the field goal. I don't know. I don't like it. I think you should have to drive the full length of the field.
You'd like them to get it at the 20-yard line?
Yeah. Fucking
I would
20.
As well.
Sorry,
fucking 20. Oh, God, it's all right. I've heard that language.
All right. And with that, let's shout out our sponsor, Fabletics. If you checked me out last night at the game, I was wearing my Fabletics suit. I was dressing like a schlub to these games. And Dad, Ira always went to the games in a suit, right?
And a tie.
A suit. Oh, I didn't have the tie. Ira, I'm sorry. Fabletics, I'm coming back. Do you make a tie? I think they probably do. I got their suit and I feel really good in it. It's now my postseason suit, sponsored by Fabletics. And if you want to look like me, if you want to be because it's striking that balance between casual and formal. Like I can talk on the screen and then I can go play football in the same night. And I think that's the balance I'm trying to strike as a 49ers content creator. It's what you want to strike when you're, getting married, doing something formal. You want to be able to run away at any given time. So go to Fabletics, check out their website. They have amazing deals right now. They're running their biggest sale of the year. And I've got an exclusive offer just for you, 80% off everything when you sign up as a VIP. Head over to fabletics.com/Cohn and sign up as a VIP to get 80% off everything. This is only available through my link, so go to fabletics.com/COHN to sign up as a VIP and get 80% off. That's fabletics.com/Cohn. Now, I know most people go to Fabletics to get workout equipment, shorts. No, I want everyone to go get suits. And you know what inspired me? Mac Jones. I like that Mac Jones would come to the game in a suit. Not that Purdy has to. I just thought it was kind of cool. And now I do for Mac.
Okay,
Mac has been an inspiration. I dress better because Mac Jones, and I think Brock Purdy dances better because of Mac Jones.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, I like that he tries to dance, but Iggy, he's a stiff.
He's a stiff. He's just a little insecure because Mac Jones played so well and people liked him, and he's really loose, and he's trying to show I can be like Mac. I can be like Mac. You can be better than Mac, but you're different. You're stiff.
Yeah. He's stiff.
What did we learn in this Bears game other than Mac Jones, other than Brock Purdy is the greatest quarterback, other than Brock Purdy is a combination of Joe Montana and Steve Young? What else did we learn?
Okay. I'm going to say some things, which is what you want me to do. Yeah. The Niners can beat teams that come in with a big reputation. They're not in awe. They do their business, and they prove they're better. That's one thing. They won 6 in a row, Iggy. Now, some of the teams sucked, but you get credit for some of this. And I want to say another thing, And this, I feel, is emblematic of a Kyle Shanahan team. They never give up. I have seen teams where they begin to phone it in games. You've seen it,
Mhm,
right? The
mhm.
Niners uh, are are mentally tough, and I think they're physically tough as well. I think that they never give up. They're like a fighter. You may uh, be flashier than this other fighter in the early rounds, like Julio Cesar Chavez, but at the end he'll kill you. He'll keep coming, and the Niners keep coming. Yeah,
Can I use another word for what they are, which is right in line with what you're
yeah,
saying, and it's kind of dangerous to say because it's the Niners and they have a past, but they're clutch.
yeah,
They're clutch. Like last night when Purdy got the ball back, there was no doubt he was driving down the field. No doubt. And then he did. And then when the Bears got the ball back, it's like, yeah, the Niners defense hasn't gotten a stop in about 3 hours, but they did on the final play. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but Robert Saleh called the play. The defense adjusted on the fly. They got the stop. I mean, they were clutch, offense and defense.
yeah. Now they have to prove their clutch in a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I
There's
want to
that.
rephrase that. Kyle needs to prove he's
It's
clutch
true.
in a Super Bowl. He needs it. And that
Mhm.
he's not come there yet. He's not
Nope.
come there yet. But I agree, based on what we're seeing so far, they're clutch. And so that's another thing I learned about them. Another thing I learned is their defense is not what it should be. And we're going to talk about it later. But they may be able to overcome that. And
Yeah.
that's one of the intriguing things about them, that in the last 6 games they've overcome it.
Yes.
So what else did you learn?
Well, I think we learned that the offense, well, one, the run game is back. That's 2 games in a row. That's a big deal. And I
Yeah.
think yes, Christian McCaffrey's running better, but I think it's very much the offensive line. Early in the season, he was getting hit in the backfield a lot. Now he's not anymore. I mean, Spencer Burford at left guard, he wasn't playing there until a few weeks ago. He's doing a great job. Dominic Pooney's getting better as the season going on. Center Jake Brendel's playing well. The offensive line, I mean, the offensive line just played really well without Trent Williams last night. That's huge.
I agree. And again, we were earlier in the season knocking Kyle for not paying enough attention to the offensive line. But Iggy, it's turned into a very good offensive line.
It's much better than the defensive line.
Yeah. Now Jake Brendel went to UCLA, but you say you don't think he likes you that much.
I don't think he
I
likes
wish
me.
I wish that you and he could talk because you're both
I'll talk to
Bruins,
him. Maybe.
Where UCLA? Sure, I have one.
Because like Colt McKivitz, because I've been tough on the offensive line. Colt McKivitz is like cool about it. He kind of has like a twinkle in his eye and kind of gives me shit about it, which I think is cool. I think Jake Brendel's attitude is go away, which is fair.
Okay, and you get that vibe, right?
Big time. He hasn't
Okay,
said go
then
away yet, but if I went over, he might do it.
what if we went over in a group?
There's not really ever a group interview around Jake Brendel.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jake.
Okay.
He hasn't reached
Okay.
group interview level yet.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
if you
that's what
if
we learned. Let's talk about one of the specific things. Christian McCaffrey. To me, what he's doing, it's getting overshadowed by Brock Purdy's 5 touchdown a week performances, but he ran for 140 in this game. He's looking like the guy who was the offensive player of the year 2 years ago. I mean, if he can do this, it really does open up the whole offense and make everyone's job easier. This is huge.
he makes Purdy a better quarterback, he makes him a
Yeah.
top 5 quarterback, maybe a top
Yes.
3,
Yes. Maybe
maybe
even the
top,
best.
maybe even the best. What I
Maybe even the
want to
best.
say is that's another example of the 49ers. They don't give up.
Yep.
It seems like McCaffrey, some guys could have been disheartened, getting smacked for 2-yard gain. And there were a lot of times, I mean, his average is not that great right now. It was like before the game was 3.7. I don't know what it is now. But he just kept coming, Iggy. He kept coming, like Julio Cesar Chavez. And I admire that about him. Also, when he's running well, he is so clever.
Yeah.
He makes cuts that are, I'm going to use a silly word, gorgeous. He makes cuts
Yeah.
that are gorgeous.
Yeah, he does. He does. I want to see if he can do it against the Seahawks. The Niners just might win the Super Bowl because I feel like if they have a balanced offense, they can almost play defense with their offense. They were on the field for like the entire first half. The Bears never really got going until the third quarter. That was very
I
impressive, and
see.
I think Christian
I see.
McCaffrey gets a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. The longer their offense is on the field, their defense doesn't have to be on the field. And
Right,
that protects it. And what Bill Walsh always used to say, it's not two teams, Low. We're one team. We're
right.
one team. Yeah.
They're playing offense and defense at the same time, and so
Yeah.
yes, they need to be scoring 40 points, but they also need to have a methodic tempo.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Take time, all of that.
yeah. I want to compare him to Debo too. We talked about getting moving on from Debo was so key. Kyle sort of gave Debo the same grace and treatment he gave Christian this year. Like Christian was having a bad year, but it wasn't necessarily all his fault. And Kyle just never wavered. Like he's great. I don't know what you're talking about. Kind of like what Jim Harbaugh would do. Nope, he's really good. We're going to keep giving him the ball like it's 2 years ago. And it finally paid off. He took the same approach with Debo last year. It didn't pay off. And maybe that just shows how loyal, how stubborn, good, bad thing Kyle is. Maybe it just shows the difference between Debo and Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, it does.
Well, I understand that Kyle is loyal to veterans and
Yes,
loyal to people who have produced for him. And that is
correct.
both a strength and a weakness in and of itself. It's a
Right,
strength when he stuck with Purdy, when he stuck with McCaffrey, not when he stuck with Debo. One
right.
big difference that I believe between Debo and McCaffrey is always in shape. And I think last season Debo wasn't.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I agree. I mean, McCaffrey, the question is like at a certain point, he'll be 30, 31, 32, and he just won't be as quick and dynamic anymore. We saw that. It's looked like we saw that earlier this year. Debo's issue was just he didn't seem to take it as seriously. Christian takes it extremely seriously.
Yeah, and which is why I respect Christian. I don't particularly respect Debo Samuel.
Yeah, the Niners are literally better off without him. I don't think the Niners will be better off without Christian McCaffrey.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
All right, we're going to look ahead to the Seahawks game in just a minute. Uh, got a word from our sponsor. Chasing huge sports cards is a blast with Fanatics Live. It's an app where fans buy and rip cards together 24/7 with live on-screen hosts guiding the action. It's a great place to start collecting, even if you don't know much about cards yet. You can find streams for all kinds of sports, as well as Pokemon. Let's check out Fanatics Live Instant Rips Packs. Again, these are digital packs with real physical graded cards you can sell or get shipped to you. You even get an instant offer for app credit equal to 90% of the market value of the card. Let's get in right now. Let's go to this one. Some baseball. Now I'm going to go and watch and see what I got. Let's see what I won. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Wow. Wow. I want to view the offer. $25.38. You bet your bottom dollar I want $25.38. Hell yeah. New users can get a free instant rips pack with the graded card to try it out. Use the link in the description to download the app and join your first stream to get your pack. All right, Dad. The defense gave up 38 points, but it got the stop on the final play. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we get to that final play, how big of an issue is the defense? On the one hand, they technically have the worst pass rush in football. They have 18 sacks this season. And I looked it up. No team has ever won a Super Bowl since they started tracking the stat with fewer than 25 sacks in a regular season. So they're doing something new. On the other hand, they're clutch, as we mentioned. What do you think? And they're well coached.
Yeah, they are well coached. Uh, I'm concerned. I'd be an idiot. Well, I'm concerned as an analyst. I'm not emotionally involved, but I'd be an idiot if I didn't recognize it and acknowledge it. Um, I have to ask in the real world, what team can really take advantage of that defense and beat the 49ers? And I think there are very few teams in that category. I think the Niners can score on anybody. And I think most play callers they face will not be as good as Ben Johnson.
True.
So I think, but it's an act of faith. I believe that they can overcome their defense. I believe they can. And I believe with this defense, they can go all the way. But what I believe and what's going to happen in real life could be different.
The reason I think it's a big issue is the pass rush more than anything. I mean, it's not just bad. It's the worst. It's non-existent. And we've seen it the last few weeks with Caleb. He drops back and stands there. And if he wants to roll to the right, he can roll to the right. If he wants to roll to the left, he can roll to the left. And then when he throws, you see that he was the number one pick. He has his cannon. It seems like every quarterback is going to play their absolute best against the 49ers, from him to 44-year-old Phillip Rivers dicing him up in the first half. You're always going to get the absolute best version of that quarterback that day, and that's scary when you're facing Super Bowl winners. Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts, these guys have won Super Bowls and had huge performances. You just let them stand there? I don't know. I mean, you got away with it with Caleb Williams, who isn't experienced, but we'll see.
Iggy, the Seahawks will not score 38 points against the 49ers.
I don't think they will either. I don't think
no,
they will.
They're not going to score.
And again, the Niners won't score 42 against the Seahawks.
No, it'll be a more normal game, Iggy.
It'll be more normal.
It'll be a more normal game, and I think the 49ers defense will perform better against Sam Darnold and the Seahawks than they did against the Bears. I do. That doesn't mean they'll be great.
But still, as shaky as Sam Darnold is, if you just let him stand there and there's no one around him, he has an incredible arm. Not an incredible arm. He's a very good arm.
Okay, I agree. I also know he's someone who can explode. Oh. He can crack up. Oh. When things go bad for him, he's not a kind of guy like Purdy who can shake it off. It gets to him. It's with him on the next play and the next play. And I think if I know it and you know it, Salah knows it. And I think Salah will find a way to get under his skin.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah. Before we talk about the Seahawks, let's talk about Salah in the final play. This came out after the game. Tatum Bethune was talking, and he was asked about that final play. And I want to get the exact quote because it's interesting. Hold on, I got it right here. The quote is, "Me and D Winners were supposed to be on a blitz, and we dropped out because we knew what they were capable of, and we just wanted to put some extra heads in the throwing lane and make Caleb run around and waste the timeout," and that's what he did. Then Mayoko writes, "The adjustment Bethune and Winters made on the spot meant the Niners essentially were doing the opposite of what Salah called at the most critical point in the game, and it worked." This is interesting. It kind of sounds like the play call, like the middle linebacker, the guy who calls the plays on defense, and his running mate went rogue on the final play of the game and did the opposite of what Robert Saleh wanted, and that's why the Niners won. Is that kind of how you interpret what this report?
Okay. And Maddie wrote an article for NBC Sports Bay Area.com.
Yeah.
And
sort of interpreting Bethune.
Which is a fair thing to do. And Bethune clearly seemed to say that we contradicted between the two of us. We said, Robert called us, but we'll do this instead. That may be the truth, Iggy.
Yes.
If it is the truth, I don't think it's a put down of Salah. Even though if they contradicted him, I think there are two other ways to look at it. Beside this guy doesn't know what he's doing, we're going to contradict him and go rogue. One is that he's such a good coach, he's taught them that go with your gut. If I call a play, but it doesn't seem appropriate, now you guys are mature enough, go with your gut, which would be a fair way to interpret it and shows that he believes in his guys. And again, I'm not an X's and O guy, but he could have said, if this happens, you do this. So they may have absolutely reacted the way Salah wanted, and Bethune may have oversimplified what he said. So I don't think there's a, let me just finish. I don't think there's a controversy. I think they responded and they won the game. That's the story.
When I look at the film, what I see is Bethune not blitzing and then covering the running back out of the backfield. That doesn't really look like a guy going rogue and freelancing. It seems like he's covering someone, and the defense was playing man to man, as Jair Brown said. So I don't know. I don't know anything about scheme, but it's possible that if the running back had stayed in the backfield to block, that Bethune would have blitzed. But since the running back ran a route, that Bethune covered him, and that's kind of how he's coached. I have no freaking idea. And I bet you, Dad, I bet you Robert Saleh doesn't want people to know. And when he's asked about it later this week, he won't really provide any clarity because I bet he actually wants people to think that his players went rogue. Because then how can you figure out what he's going to call on the last play of the game? Because this is a call he likes. This is what he's going to go to with the game on the line. He doesn't want people to figure out what's going on. Better for people to think that his players are just doing whatever.
Okay, I want to be very clear here. We're not putting down Matt Mayoko. As all of you know, he's one of my dearest friends. We're really much more talking about Bethune and the message that he gave. And we're not putting down Bethune. We're trying to put it in context and to understand it.
Yeah, I would interpret Bethune's comments the same way Maddie did. I'm just trying to, based on what I know of football and what I saw on the film, I would not necessarily take Bethune's comments at face value.
I would have to agree with you. And
Yeah.
here's another thing. Again, I don't know Saleh, but I know about him through you. I don't think Saleh is the kind of guy who would be threatened by what Bethune said.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he'd get in his face. How the hell could I don't think it like that at all. I think he's the kind of guy who would just let it ride. What do you think?
I agree, but you're not aware of this. But there was a little bit part of the conversation last night in the press conferences. The questions were about assigning credit and blame for the end. There were a bunch of questions for Kyle at the end, like, "Hey, did you want to take a little bit more time off the clock before you scored?" Like, almost insinuating that he messed up, that he
Mm.
gave the Bears too much time. And he was like, his answer was fair. He didn't get defensive. And he was like, well, if we had gotten to the red zone, we absolutely would have thought about that. But we scored from like 35 yards out. And he didn't say it, but I'm sure he wasn't thinking that Jawan Jennings was going to break away from the defense and score on that play. The idea was to get into the red zone. And then all of a sudden he scored. What are you going to do? Like tell him to go down? So
Right.
then you're trying to, then it's like, okay, well, the offense was great, but the offense couldn't seal the game. The defense sealed the game, and it was Saleh and his call. But then it's like, wait a second, it wasn't Saleh and his call. It was his players who went rogue, and they did. And remember, during the week, I asked Brock, do you ever go rogue and say, I don't like this call. I'm calling my own play. Like that's what the defense did. Well, I don't know, but those are what the narratives that were going on last night after the game.
Don't you find the media irritating?
I hate us. We're the worst.
I hate them. I hate the media. I don't have any answer. Yeah. I don't have any answer
Enough
to
of the
that
final play. We're gonna talk Seahawks, and then we'll do all your super chats, and we'll get some prize picks in here. Seahawks. Every week I feel like I'm like, this is the real test. Like the Bears were good, but you called it. I mean, they're a young team. They're better at home. They weren't as good as the 49ers. The Seahawks are the number 1 seed. They faced each other already once before. The Niners won. It was a very low-scoring game. What do you expect from this game?
First of all, I expect the Niners to win. What I expect to happen, and if I'm wrong, you could put a pie in my face. I expect the Niners to beat these guys. I expect the Niners to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs as long as they survive. And I expect the Niners to be in the Super Bowl at their home, at their ballpark. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's what I think is going to happen too. I do think it's going to be an interesting game, despite that. Like, I want to see how much Brock Purdy's really improved. You said it's your theory or your suspicion that Brock Purdy has improved significantly since 2 years ago. I think it's possible. He may have improved significantly since a month ago. We've
Yeah.
seen what it looked right? Like, we've seen what he looked like against Seattle earlier this year. He had Kittle for a couple quarters. He had Trent Williams. He had Chris. He had everyone, and he had some great plays. He had 2 bad picks. They scored 17 and 1. Is he gonna look different this time? Is he gonna put up 25, 30? That would say something about his development and maybe the offense's, potential the rest of the
I
season.
Well, I think I wanna get back to the Seahawks. I wanna tell you one reason Brock got better, Mac Jones, because he's a
Yep,
competitor. No
yep,
question. He's a
I agree.
competitor. Let's get back to the Seahawks. I don't expect the Seahawks to score a lot of points against the 49ers. I expect the 49ers defense to look pretty good. Not great, pretty good, and I expect them to do very well against the run. I do. And I
Yeah,
expect them eventually to force Sam Darnold to make game-losing mistakes. That's
yeah,
what I think is gonna happen in that game. I do.
yeah. It's interesting. I'm looking at the stats from week 1, and gotta remember, the Seahawks defense is legit. It's way better than the Bears defense. It's way better than any defense the Niners have faced in the last month or 2. And in that game, they held McCaffrey to 69 rushing yards on 22 carries. That's 3.1 per attempt. And as a team, the Niners averaged 3.3 yards per carry. So that's serious. And that's not what the Niners have been doing the last couple of weeks. On the other hand, the Niners defense was great against the run as well. They only gave up 84 rushing yards the whole game. So it could come down to which quarterback plays better. And I think we both agree that Purdy's playing a whole lot better than Darnold right now. The only thing is Purdy's probably going to be facing an actual pass rush while Darnold might not be.
Do you but remember the offensive line is improved. Do you
It
think they're
is,
gonna
but
that
remember that Trent
Yeah,
Williams might not play.
yeah. Oh, there's so many things to consider. I'm getting a
There's so many
migraine.
things to remember at the same time. I'm forgetting.
Um, you know how I called yesterday's game like art? It was beautiful.
Yeah.
The game against the Seahawks is not gonna be art, Iggy. It's gonna be
No.
tough, gritty,
Yep.
and maybe ugly. But I love
Yep.
games like that. I do.
Yeah.
I love games where they have to fight for every inch. How much it
Yeah.
means. The yard lines, how much they mean. And this is going to be that game. The two teams playing their hearts out because the game has such overriding significance.
Yep.
So I think it'll be an ugly / fucking great game.
Agree. That Seahawks defense is going to be maybe the best defense the Niners see. It's a really good defense, but their offense, their quarterback's shaky. They have one great wide receiver, but that's it. They don't have a tight end you're scared of. They have a couple running backs who are good that the Niners shut down already this year. They got one wide receiver you got to handle. And again, let's see what he did in this game. He had 9 catches for 124 yards and no touchdowns. He's good, but he didn't score. So we'll see.
I also think Purdy will play very well in this game. I do. I think he'll play very
He will
well.
too. I think he will
Now,
too.
he may not
As a Mac
be
Jones.
involved in 5 touchdowns. Yeah, because Iggy, one of the reasons he is better is because he, like a competitor, he responded to the challenge of Mac Jones, and Kyle
Yes.
gets credit for creating that dynamic.
Correct. Bill Walsh would have done the same thing, and Kyle didn't create that
He
dynamic
did.
last year.
Bill did it with Steven and Joe.
Yeah,
He did it.
yeah, he did. It's true. 2 Hall of Famers. Bill Kennedy says, "Does defense win championships? Hope not. LOL."
You need defense to win championships, Bill, and they're going to have to do better.
They're going to have to do better. Mason says, "I shook hands with Lombardi and took a photo in Indy. He then said he was sick with something from the Niners locker room. Now I'm stuck at home with the flu fever. At least I have gloves off to read." It's a good book. Good book. Sudden Chaos says Purdy hasn't proven anything until he plays on defense and special teams. Dude has kicked no field goals. Love you, Mr. Cohn. I look forward to this show just as much as the games. Grant, you were just okay. Thanks,
I
Sudden
think
Chaos.
Grant's superior.
808 Niners says, if this Kyle had shown up in the past, they would have won a Super Bowl. Now that his crutch Debo is gone, the offense is more open. He's going to get CMC killed, but I'm more optimistic he can win a Super Bowl here.
Well, as
We're
long as he
optimistic
doesn't get him
too.
killed till after they win, till after they win a Super Bowl.
I'm glad we agree that moving on from the Debo crutch was key for Kyle. The Finance Bro 808
Yeah.
says, should Marquise Siegel be get playing time at free safety? Too many times Brown has been getting beat deep playing single high safety. Siegel did too. That's why Siegel got benched. I think the answer is they don't really have a starting safety at that spot, and they need one next year. City by the Bay says Purdy's best strength is IQ, underrated scrambler. Yeah, but does he got a 148? Invading Robot says, hey, Grant and Lowell. In the pressers, why do some journalists go on a long preamble before asking the question? If it's a good question, you don't need to qualify it. You guys are great, by the way, and I appreciate your insights.
That's a very interesting comment, and I appreciate it. For what it's worth, when I participated in a lot of news conferences in a lot of sports, I always thought my question out beforehand. Sometimes I wrote it down. If I felt a little nervous, I'd write it down in my notebook. And I always wanted it to be a simple declarative sentence, one sentence. If you have to do a whole preamble, the subject, like the coach, Kyle, begins to tune out, and the journalists in the room begin to think you're a schmuck. So for me, it worked best if I just did a simple declarative. Oh, it couldn't be a declarative because it was a question, a simple interrogative.
Yeah.
Interrogative.
Ben Eastman says, ever since growing the beard, Grant, Purdy has been on a roll. Can we see you hit the Dougie? I'll work on it. If they win the Super Bowl, I'll do the Dougie. Tony Vang says, CMC in the MVP conversation. Back come player of the year. Will Purdy have a bad game in the rain? Will Donald tear up the Niners defense or see ghosts? You ask a lot of questions. I don't think you can be in the MVP conversation when you miss half the season.
I agree.
That's just me, though.
He's not in the MVP conversation. Yeah, he's not.
T&K Hunting says, as a business owner with 16 employees, you absolutely need to cut ties with people that cause issues in the workplace. No matter how good they are or what you have invested, it's the only way. Proud of Kyle. Seems like he's starting to realize it.
Love that comment. Thank you.
Thanks for the $50. That was extremely generous. All of you guys are generous. I appreciate you. Nathan says, hey, Grant, not sure if this is going to be your last show of the year, so happy New Year to you, Grant, and Lowell as well. The shows with you and your dad are the best. Happy New Year, Nathan. I appreciate it. But no,
Iggy, you're going to do some.
Yeah. I'll stream tomorrow. Next. Kennedy says, who would Walsh Seifert trade? Kittle, CMC?
Let me take Seifert out of it. I mean, the way they're playing now, I mean, Kittle's hurt. I'm not sure that Bill would trade them if they continue to play like that. You'd be nuts.
Sean for the win says, do you think the Niners would consider extending Christian McCaffrey's career by converting him to slot and re-signing him? It would be a savvy move if he's willing to, and he'd be elite for another 2-3 years.
My feeling is it'll never happen.
Probably not. He'd make more money as
he's a running back.
Yeah. Jameer says, greatest sons of Oakland, what are your favorite movies? My favorite movie?
Hey, you know what? I got to tell you. I look, my favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie. It's my favorite movie far and away. But last Saturday night, I was going to go out. I like to go out to a nice restaurant and sit at the bar and talk to people and eat. And I was getting ready to do it, but I've been reading this book, Testimony by Robbie Robertson from the band. And I was getting up to the part where they were going to do their last concert, which was in San Francisco, called The Last Waltz. And instead of going out, I watched the movie. I got it on Prime Video. And I'd never watched it before. And I got to tell you, what a great rock and roll movie. Iggy. Oh, in fact, when we're done today, I'm going to write about that movie on Substack. The music is great, and the story of those band members is so wonderful. And Iggy, I'm watching it. They're all dead now. Every one of them. One was a suicide. And so you're watching the movie, and there's this extra unspoken theme that they're all gone. I had one of the deepest, most beautiful Saturday nights. So I'm saying, if you never watched the last waltz about I mean, they had people, they had Dylan singing, they had Van Morrison, Neil Diamond, they had Joni Mitchell, they had Muddy Waters. It was phenomenal. Clapton, what a concert. Ringo Starr, Ronnie Woods. It was unbelievable.
Wow. Okay. We got about 10 more super chats, but before we do that, let's make some prize picks and then we'll do the super chats. Let's see if they got Niners, Seahawks on the docket. They do. Okay. Let's start. Let's get right to it. Passing yards. Brock Purdy, 242.5. He's been on fire.
More.
Okay. Okay.
What did he have
Darnold.
yesterday, Iggy? Wait a minute. What did Brock have?
303.
Okay, more.
Darnold, 239.5. Oh.
Fewer.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
You disagree, I know. It's okay.
It's just the lack of the pass rush is alarming, but
then let's go more. It's I like to be when you have more wisdom than I do. Let's go more.
What did he do the first time? Let me see. What did he do the first time? 150, man. No, I'm gonna stick with you. These are your prize picks. I don't want to influence you. Rush yards.
You're Christian influencing McCaffrey. Me.
Are you influencing? Okay. 69.5.
More.
Christian.
More.
Yeah, without even thinking about it. Zach Charbonnet. He's a combination of a Chardonnay and a Cabernet.
What am I?
43.5 rushing yards. He went for 110 against Carolina.
I'd say more.
Yeah, that's Charbonnet for you. Receiving yards. George Kittle, 62.5. You think he's coming back? You think he can do that?
If he comes back, he won't be the focus. So I'm going to say fewer.
I agree. Smart,
Iggy,
smart.
Iggy, when you get a Charbonnet for dinner, do you chill it? Or do you,
I like
to
chill it. I like to let it breathe.
Okay.
You gotta let it breathe. Ricky Pearsall, 42.5.
More.
Okay, those are the picks. We're gonna flex it, submit it. I think those are some good picks. I'm gonna look at them one more time. Okay, those are the picks. Download Prize Picks yourself. Use promo code Cohn, COHN. Play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups when you use that promo code. All right, let's get back to the super chats. The Only Flav says the new use check motion is so sick, and it's why Kyle is still the man. He comes up with new stuff every year, i.e. Debo at running back or CMC out wide, Green Bay, Rams, Minnesota, all Kyle's other children then steal his ideas. All right, Flav. The Black Hercules says, can we take a second to appreciate the genius of Saleh? Last play of the game, he only rushed 2 linemen. The 2 ends he dropped, the 3 interior linemen into coverage. That's why Caleb couldn't make a play. Let's take a minute to appreciate that. That's true. I think Saleh has this call that people don't quite understand and can't decipher, and he goes to it with the game on the line. So good for him. Mike, the producer, says, I have 2 tickets, 200 level row 6, hoping for a small promotion to sell them as I can't make it on Saturday. I really wish I could go. All right. Well, if you want to go to the Niners game, reach out to Mike, the producer. He's got 2 tickets. The Only Flav says it's supposed to rain this week. Who do you think that helps hurts more? I really don't know, although Purdy hasn't been great in the rain.
Iggy, I heard it's not going to rain down there.
It's supposed to rain in the morning. I don't know if it's going to rain at night.
Okay. Let's linger. As we say in Brooklyn, let's linger. Linga here a minute. If it rains, he's not done well grasping the ball in the rain.
No.
So there are other things. We said, what does he need to show? Another thing he needs to show is he can throw the damn ball in the rain. So if it rains, this is another test of him.
Probably favors the team from Seattle if it rains.
Yeah, because it rains all the time up there.
That's the thing about Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Bob Phipps, $5. Thank you very much. S2 Blink says, I would love for BA to get a ring. It's a huge FU.
Well, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Here, have your ring. Yeah, I don't
think he's scared. Hold on.
Yeah.
Iggy, if you were the owner of this team, would you give him a ring if they win the Super Bowl?
Only if I had to. Only if there was some rule with the NFLPA that I had to.
Otherwise, you wouldn't, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. You know what I
You
do? I'd get
left.
him get a box of Cracker Jacks, and maybe there's a ring in there.
That's nice. I like that. The only Flav says, I don't know if I can believe in Purdy until he proves he can do it without Pleasance and Tonjes. That's a good comment. Marco Angelis, member for 1 month. Thank you very much, Marco. And Seven Dennis says, Neil Diamond was an a-hole at TLW per my friend.
What's TLW? Oh, The Last Waltz?
The Last Waltz. Yeah.
Hold on. Um, I don't know your friend, and I don't know how your friend knows, but I know that when I finished the book, Testimony, Robbie Robertson's book, and he only had the nicest things to say about Neil Diamond. Plus, my current book is called Brooklyn Jew. Neil Diamond is a Brooklyn Jew. He's a little older than I am, but we grew up in Brooklyn pretty much at the same time. I think he went either to Lincoln High School or Erasmus. I'm never clear on that. I went to Midwood. So I kind of like Neil Diamond.
He could have been hanging out with Al Davis.
Much younger than Al Davis.
Never mind. S2 Bling says, Cohn Zone is the best show on your YouTube channel. You're both great. Love your relationship. How you keep doing the show, Lowell. Love your inside opinion.
Thank you so much. That makes my day.
Thanks, S2 Bling. Thanks, everyone, for watching. You just watched the best Cohn Zone of all time, officially. Dad, you were great, and I love you.
I love you, Iggy. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you.
Look, Happy New Year, everybody, and please be safe.
Happy New Year.